What is good, motherfuckers? This is the Be Cool Podcast. Welcome to the first ever video podcast recorded. This is episode 66 of the podcast. I hope you enjoy. If you are a loyal listener to the Be Cool Podcast, be cool, motherfuckers. Remember, at Reese45MC, Twitter, Instagram, you can find it right down here. The overlay is right over here, the logo. We in it right now. So I hope for a lot more views, some listeners. Don't forget to go to Spotify, go to iTunes, do the reviews, 5-star reviews. Let's get this motherfucker going. And we got the new format. I hope the video's clear, the audio's nice. I did a little test run, so hopefully it works. If it doesn't come out right, we're still going to post it because there's no editing. There's no post-production. I am Post Malone, the only motherfucker alive that can do the Be Cool Podcast. We are self-reliant. We've had sponsors for the past year. Someone lost an election. We kept the podcast. And if you don't know, we still got the merch. We got the merch out here, and we're living good. The white skin, because it's wintertime, it's cold outside. And I hope everybody's staying warm. Everybody's doing good. And we're going to kick this one off. It's Valentine's Day weekend. What is today, the 12th, the 11th? I don't know what fucking day it is. Who cares? Who's looking up that stuff? I'm going to cuddle up nice to a bottle of rosé tonight. They don't talk back. They're not needy. She just circumvents all my pain and lets me dance around all night. Little shimmy, little sham. And it's all good. It's all good in my hood in the 8 Mile. Trailer park trash. You know, this is how we do it. If it's not trash, it's garbage, it's glad. Don't be mad, be glad like a trash bag. Everything all works out at the end. And I hope you continue to watch episode 67 and further down the line. But we're going to get right into it. The new format is we have a person of the week. We have a story of the week, a news story, or, you know, whatever we feel is legit enough for you people, the Be Cool Podcast listeners, the loyal listeners, the motherfuckers out there that care about others, the world, our society, where we're going, where we've been, and how we're gonna get there. You know, I'm a little parched right now. I gotta grab this water. Real quick. I hope it's all good. We're gonna get into a little bit more of how bad it's getting in some places, but we're gonna start off the person of the week this week. It is the Lunar New Year. Chinese Lunar New Year of the Ox. And who better than a Lunar New Year would you have the person of the week as Galileo Galilei? A unbelievable person back in the 16th century, 1500s, 1546 to about 1650. No. Might be backwards. I think he was like 80, 90 when he died. But he was an astronomer. He was a physicist. He was doing unbelievable work scientifically, which at that time, religion was running rampant. Religion was, taking over the airwaves, as it were. It's almost Breitbart News. Some silly shit was going on. A little Fox News action, Fox Business News, if you don't want to believe in anything. But what we have here is Galileo was doing unbelievable scientific experiments, figuring out things. You can go into Wikipedia and learn all that nonsense. We're not here to do, a deep dive into Galileo. We're just doing the person of the week. It's Lunar New Year, Chinese Lunar New Year. And what better way to jump that off with the ox himself, Galileo. Galilei. Little Italiano. Cosoliante. Mucho dinero. But, a good Primanera, whatever you want to do. Primanavara. But, it's whatever you people enjoy in your life. Sauces, bolognese. You got to figure that on your own. There's plenty of information out there on YouTube. Watch the Food Network, retain some of that information, and blase. Do what you got to do in your regular daily life. And, that's the support that the Be Cool Podcast is all about for our listeners. So, Galileo, one of the big stories, that's why I chose him for the person of the week, was because he was tried by the Roman Catholic Church because of his scientific ways as a heretic. He then chose to, not act, what he did was he backpedaled on his stances, on his scientific experiments, so he wasn't hung. He escaped death by, down. What do you call that thing? Cowpowing the people. If you're in the middle of the woods and you don't want to be killed by the bears, sometimes you gotta act like a bear. You gotta be weary. Sometimes you gotta run up the hill. Running down the hill, I don't know if it's up the hill or down the hill. Maybe it's down the hill because they get a little too much momentum and they roll down the hill. A little Revenant action for you, a little Leonardo DiCaprio style. So what he did was he allowed the church to maneuver his mindset, but not internally. Internally, he continued to do his experiments until the day he died. He also wrote many manuscripts in those times, maybe part of the Illuminati. If you ever seen a little Angels and Demons, Tom Hanks, COVID-19, maybe a connection there, maybe not. But we're not going to get into that. That's all, hearsay. Hearsay, also another little term that they used in those times, the Roman Catholic Church, to, further grow their empire. Disgusting things, disgusting times. How people still believe in that today is beyond me, but whatever you need to, move on with your day with, a little COVID right there. Whatever you have to move on with your day that balances you out, I got no problem with. I can't judge you on that, but I can judge what the stories are you're believing. Now, that's a different thing altogether. I'm not going to criticize you, but I can criticize the religion in itself. Because you didn't make it, you're just following the thing. It's kind of like the people who, let's not get into that. But Galileo, Chinese New Year, go check him out. He's got some information out there. He did a lot of great experiments. He saw the rings on Saturn. He just used what was available to him at the time that he was alive. 1500s into the early 1600s. Unbelievable stuff. The mind of a man like that. What a person like that today, where does that exist? Where does the person who had to go against such a force, such as the church and religion, where do we get that kind of person today? And actually kind of moves into the story of not the story of the week, but the movie of the week. Nice little transition here. I don't know if you ever heard of Judas, little Bible reference, Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, this is a new movie just put out. It's Black History Month, so how could the movie of the week not be involved in Black history in some way? I think Black History Month should be a year-round thing, but some people just don't, have that. A lot of crackers out there just don't have that ability. They can't see a person for being a person. They can't see a lot of things out here. The country is divided. How it's divided is beyond me. People need things. People should be able to get those things. If you're hungry, if you need food, if you need a place to live, I don't think the government should just give you the thing. But, if you have a regular job, there's no reason to be out on the street. How the homeless situation across America exists is unfathomable to me. It's despicable. It's a disgrace that the country that with so much wealth, that we are in this place right now. It's basically we're just killing each other to get another crumb. How many crumbs do you need out here? I got plenty of shoes. I'm not the one out here arguing against giving people the necessities that they need to survive in life. But let's get back to the Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, this is a story about Fred Hampton, based in Chicago, Black Panther, one love. It's all good. That's how we roll out. Here's the Be Cool podcast. This ain't the white supremacist podcast. Don't get it twisted. The bald head ain't got shit to do with waving those Confederate flags. Fuck all that shit. You guys lost. You didn't figure it out. Black power. You can go back in history and read how this shit went down. So this new movie. I haven't seen it just yet because I had to set up this all week, try to figure it out, do some test runs. Hope it all works. The video, the audio works for everybody. Can't wait to get this uploaded, see what the views, what the comments are. Don't forget to comment below. Promo Mo Gaming. Comment, leave a like, subscribe, and, let us know. Let us know what you want to hear. Maybe we can bring up a topic for one of the podcasts. Happy to do it. Don't forget, all of our past episodes are all audio, and they can be found on Spotify and iTunes. And if you're on there, might as well leave a review. 5-star reviews are beautiful. And if you don't like it, let me tell you, listen, just do it. Just do somebody a favor out here. If you're out there listening and you've made it this far, you might as well get to the end, and you might as well, be part of the community. Don't be afraid to speak. It's fine. At Reese45MC, Twitter and Instagram. Right there by the mic. Let's do that. Right there. Right this motherfucker right there. Keep it real. And I can't wait to watch this movie. Hopefully it's better than last week's pick, which was, shit. That fucking Denzel Washington. The Light of the Time or some shit. The Time. Shit. I'm glad I forgot about that movie. A Time to Kill. I think that was who did that fucking movie? A Time to Kill. Is that, who's my man? Morgan Freeman. I can't believe it's not popping in my head. This shit is ridiculous. So, Judas and the Black Messiah, about Fred Hampton and the FBI putting an informant into his organization, which was a black man. They used a crime that this guy had committed, not Fred Hampton, but the informant, and made him infiltrate the Black Panther, and so they could get recordings and information on what they were doing. Because at this time, white America is not ready. We're out of the civil rights movement. Martin Luther King's dead. And these motherfuckers are out there. This is right after the dogs and the water hoses, the lynchings. Not that lynchings have stopped, but this is the time. So Fred Hampton was part of starting the Black Panther Revolution. It's just empowering and not allowing that Black America to be segregated, to be disenfranchised, to not have the right pay, to not have the ability to vote properly. All the things that the civil rights movement was supposed to do, that's what Fred Hampton was standing up for. Now, there may have been some bad moves in violence and stuff like that, but when your people have been killed since the day that they were brought over and sold as not even human beings, but as objects to work for no pay, no lifestyle, no nothing, to be used as sex slaves, it goes down the gamut how bad that black people were treated in this country and continue to be. But what Fred Hampton was if you're going to use violence against us, how am I not going to use violence against you? Now, this is different from what this insurrection that happened on January 6th was, because there was no violence that was happening. People lost the vote. That Trump, the president who had lost the vote, incited a riot, which then in turn to white people and maybe 3 or 4 black people that were in this group went into our Capitol building with intent to do damage and to harm people. There's no doubt about that. They were hunting people. And how this is not a problem, how 99% of America can't see this as a problem is mind-boggling to me. I don't care if you watch Fox News, CNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS. You're lost. You're lost. If you can't see that, you're lost without trying to find a division between it. There's no story that can tell you. People went there because they were told to go, and then once they got to the rally, they're there. What are they going to do? They're doing a vote already. They're trying to verify the votes, the electoral votes at the same day. You don't think that this was what they wanted to have happen? It was 100% what was supposed to happen. Not supposed to happen, but what was concluded would happen within this mob of people. Shame on you. Hope you motherfuckers, find your day in jail. Because you're obviously guilty. There's pictures of you. You guys promoted it. So, dummies. So I can't wait to see this Fred Hampton movie, to hopefully see if they are factual in some way. I know it's not a biography. It's a situation about the informant and Fred Hampton. So we'll see how that all, meanders its way throughout the storyline. And I hope it's a lot better than whatever last week's show was, because I was hoping big things from that movie, and it just fell on its ass at the end. Though I did have a good explanation about it, of why it may have happened that way. But, you're going to do a thriller with a murderer, a serial killer or something, like a murderer, you got to have a good ending. And you usually want to see that motherfucker burned at the stake. You know what I'm saying? Judas, a little religious action for you. Maybe you want to boil him in oil. Nice high rolling boy, a little George Carlin action. Go back and check that out. Back in Town, New York style. If you don't know the references, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. I don't just spit nonsense out here. Well, I can't just say that. I do spit a little nonsense, but maybe that was the nonsense. A little reference, maybe those names will click and you go like, what the fuck's he talking about? George Carlin, Back in Town. Well, George Carlin is a comedian who's no longer with us. One of the best ever in my mind, in my eyes, because I actually saw and heard him. But he had a special back when I was a young man, coming up in the teen years prior to being 21, called Back in Town, and he was in New York. So that's his hometown. That's where he was born. So go check that out if you want to get some of these references. If I say a name, there's a reason I'm saying it. Do the backpedaling. Go find out the history, find out the future, and we'll all be in line, in sync, and hopefully we'll have no Timberlake, Britney Spears drama going on. Can't wait to watch this movie, Judas and the Black Messiah, the movie of the week. Haven't seen it yet, but I got big hopes, big dreams, big guns, big whips, fat cracker talking big shit. What is he going to do? So, going into that, the story of the week. One of my favorite things to do in this new format is speak on some of these things that may be off people's radar. Now, I'm a big true crimes buff. I listen to True Crimes Garage, Missing Maura Murray, and I'll tell you, if you're the first time listener, first time viewer here on YouTube, I'll say pedophiles, sex abuse, that kind of shit. I don't got time for I don't got time for any of this shit. No trial, no jury. If they've done it, if they've, there's hard evidence. Let's just hang these motherfuckers or send them to the bottom of the ocean. Let the sharks fuck with them. I got no time for this. We're wasting valuable money and time trying these people, keeping them alive until they never reach the electric chair. And it's just sad. It's a sad fucking... these people have never spent a good, hard days in jail. They get maybe 5 years. Back in the day, they get like 5 years and they'd be back out doing the same shit. It's fucking mind-blowing that a guy who sold weed is doing 25 to life. That's where the system is. That's our system. It's racially motivated. It's systemic. But these fucking sickos are out there running around rampant. All they got to do is register. It's all right. Guy who sells weed can't register to vote, but these guys can register to live in your neighborhood and fuck with your kids. Tell me, motherfucker, where that makes any sense, and I'll stop doing the podcast. So, story of the week rolls into one of these stories. Amy Milkovich, 89, back in 1989, 10 years old. Her body was found in 1990. She was abducted in 89 in Ohio. Like 50 miles away from where she was last seen, they found her body in a cornfield. Now, for all this time, they've never had an update. Well, this week, they had an update in the case. A woman came forward who said that the person that she lived with, the man that she lived with, didn't come home that day. And more information rolls out that this guy's license plate. Well, this is one of the best things about going into some of these cases, because sometimes you never hear about police what police did to actually, gain evidence that would in the future be maybe useful. So what the FBI did at this time, where they found once they found the body, they decided to, because it's in a rural area, it was like one way in, one way out. So if they had cars coming in, what they had was a guy stay there for, I can't remember how long the agent stayed there. It was at least a day, but it could have been a week. But maybe for a week, they recorded every license plate number that went through that area, that one road, that one area where they found the body. Because it's, if you go into true crimes and serial killers and stuff like that, you'll find that these people have a tendency to come back to the area where the body was, or the murder was, or the murder took place, just to gain some kind of satisfaction or some sexual gratification in some way. I don't know how the fuck that is, man, but that's why you got to bury these people. I mean, just sink them. Not like the Roman Catholic Church did to women. They thought they were witches, so they just drowned the motherfuckers. No, I mean, if feminists aren't mad at that, how can you be a religious, fanatic? But I'm saying, just drown these motherfuckers, put cement down their throat and send them to the bottom of the ocean. I got no problem with it. It's chum. It's a feeding frenzy down there. Let the lobster get big. Let the Bering crabs get a little bit of feed, so the people on the top of the water can get a little food in the end of the day. And then I'm not into cannibalism, but, regurgitated fucking crab meat is not my problem. So what they did was they took down the license plates of all the cars that went by in that area. And there was some evidence. There was a like a shower curtain or a curtain that was used to like wrap the body in. So they have that as evidence, and there were some other things. And they found some fibers and stuff like that. But fibers, listen, fibers are not scientific evidence. You can match hair follicles, but hair follicles aren't match DNA. Now, DNA is a different kind of thing. Hard to get your DNA in places it shouldn't be. Well, this suspect who they just released, they didn't release, they did release the name, but they updated the case in. So this woman who called in said that this man was not home. She has a good, she has an inkling that this could be possibly a suspect in the case. His DNA is on the shower curtain. His DNA is, I can't remember where else it was another piece of the DNA, but they got a search warrant to search his, what the fuck do they call that? It's not a fucking locker. It's a storage area, his storage. And they took evidence from there, not saying that they have conclusive evidence on anything, but his license plate was one of the license plate that they found had gone through at that time, a car that was registered to him. Also, he was part of the search group. Now, he lived in the area that she was abducted, not the place that she was murdered. So why would he be out there? Why the interest? Well, sometimes that you have, and the names were taken down of all the people who were out there searching. This kind of this type of thorough activity by the police at that time and the FBI who were involved in the case goes to show you, if you do your job with due diligence, good things can happen in the future. So because they saved that evidence, because they went through the task of actually completing that, of taking down those names, saving the names, saving the license plates of the cars that went through the area where the body was found, that information is helpful now and useful because they can connect dots that weren't there or weren't available to them at the time, just because of a person who came out of the blue and gave this guy's name up. So hopefully there's a resolution in the future for the family, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You want to see the justice done to the person that committed the crime, and you also want to see some kind of alleviation of unknown pain and thoughts that families have that are grieving for 30 plus years or even more. It's sad things, and it shouldn't be happening. I mean, it's less probable of those things happening today because of the ability for video footage to be captured in almost every area of our country. But for cases that happened 30, 40 years ago, that's it. The information is slim at best. It's a little bit easier in Europe because they have the CCTV on like every corner, so they can track some interesting movements that people have. And if you are a true crimes buff, go and listen to the True Crimes Garage. It's the best out there, the best to do it. They break everything down for you. They give you all the information. They do involve their own ideas and thoughts, but that's on a mission to actually resolve the case in the best way without pointing blame in different ways. So I hope you enjoy that part of what this podcast is all about. It's all about information in the Be Cool podcast. We like to, give our opinions, give our thoughts and ideas. We like to spread information in the best way that's not left or right, because that shit is bogus. I hate that shit. I hate to even talk about it. I hated to talk about politics the entire election time, but that's what we dealt with. COVID pretty much, secluded us into a one-way route in the podcast. So most every podcast had the same way. You got to talk. If you weren't talking about COVID or politics, what else are we going to talk about? The NBA just came back, Super Bowl, Tampa Bay wins. Congratulations, Tom Brady, on the Super Bowl. Unbelievable prophetic type of title to last week's podcast prior to their parade on the water, because Tom Brady got off that boat feeling real good, and I got nothing wrong with that. If you win a Super Bowl, I don't give a fuck what you do as long as you do it to yourself. I don't care. As long as you're not hurting nobody. This guy just got off a boat feeling real good. So bravo to you. The gunslinger did it again. I got no problem with it. But any Patriots fan that think they won because Tom Brady threw touchdowns for Tampa Bay, you done fucked up, because that's not the way the world works. The guy's on a different team. Your team didn't make the playoffs. You didn't win a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl. Gronk and Brady and Antonio Brown. Unbelievable. What a day it was. What a great Super Bowl, too. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did. I'm going to get into the songs of the week, but there's some weird things I got to figure out. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast. These are the songs of the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe right down here. YouTube, Pro Momo Gaming. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll hit you guys back up. You can also hit me on the Instagram, the Twitter at Reese45MC. That's where all my information's at. That's where all my tweets are if I get angry at Laurel Ingram, like I did last night for spreading propaganda about not wearing masks from a report written back in May 2020, a year ago. Not even a year ago. Like a month after Trump finally said that COVID existed. I mean, if someone's rehashing something from 2020 in May about COVID, you done fucked up. You're a moron, and that's a moron of the week. I mean, that might as well have a new little episode. The moron of the week is Laurel Ingram. What a dumb fucking idiot. No slander to the female population, but this broad, Laurel Ingram, what are you doing? Why would you even? And she's laughing about it while she's saying it. It's just fucking disgusting. If people follow this kind of shit, it's all entertainment. No, Laurel Ingram and Sean Hannity are not news outlets. Those are entertainers. Those are fucking entertainers. Anything past 12 o'clock in the afternoon, if you're watching it, it's all entertainment. Just like Price is Right, Family Feud, Game Time, television, TV land, whatever you're doing. Gamble responsibly, 1-800-GAMBLER. Do what you got to do. Whatever you got to do to get through the day, do what you got to do, as long as you're not harming another motherfucker. So I appreciate you all being here. This is the Be Cool Podcast, episode 67, I think. I don't know how we made it. But now we're on footage now. You can see my look. You can see I'm not reading off no script. I just got a couple things. I got the names of the things I was talking about. But what else am I going to read from? I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not slapping the meat. I mean, I might be slapping the meat later, but I'm not going to be doing it on live camera for you little rats. It's not my business. But the merch is here. If you want some of this merch, we can start it up. I hope you enjoyed the Be Cool Podcast. I am Momo, Reese45, Reese45MC. I hope you enjoyed. I can't wait to talk back next week prior to my trip to Florida. private jet G8. Has nothing to do with the podcast, just, just a lucky little cracker out here living life. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody supporting. And these are the songs of the week. If you like them, comment, leave me a message. Let me know what you bumping. Last week, I had about 6 songs. Tramp Stamps, Sex With Me. That's one of my favorites. I'll be listening to that every week. So keep listening. Like, subscribe. Hit me with the comments. Reese45MC here on YouTube. And remember, be cool, motherfuckers.